Anna's invite to Ivan Chow to be our guest tonight was amazing. And those of you who don't follow Ivan, please do. And he'll do all of the social media uh, advertisement that he needs to, because he's a wonderful artist, architect, and urban sketcher, and we're really happy to have him tonight. And I'm going to put a cheap plug in too, Ivan, before I give you the floor. This is his latest book. If it's backwards, I'm sorry, but it's drawing insights from Istanbul, and when we had our pre-meeting a week or so ago, he mentioned it. And I immediately got on Amazon and ordered it, and luckily it came in today. I was able to peruse it for a couple of minutes prior to the meeting. But Ivan's philosophy and really outlook and technique is just wonderful. It's poetry in motion. So please, I would highly recommend the book. Even a little bit, I've perused it already. I like to cuddle up with it like a good glass of wine as well, and really enjoy it and sift through the pages and enjoy every line and every color. And that's what's fun about his particular sketches as well. But Anna, I wanted to just thank you, for reaching out and getting Ivan as part of our guest lineup. We've had a pretty impressive lineup, and Ivan, you add even more strength to that lineup over the last couple of years that we've been bringing in guests. So thank you for that. Lisa, I hope you caught your breath. Anna, it's awesome work as always. And Ivan, welcome. I'll turn it over to you, and thank you again from all of us for taking the time with us this evening. We absolutely look forward to the time.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Lisa. Is my audio sounding all right?
Yes.
Sounds great.
So I was asked to introduce myself, which, as most of you know, once you've been working out in the field for 40, 50 years, it becomes a challenge to synthesize. But I kind of summarized it in the following way. I've been an architect for over 40 years, but have done a lot of different things within the field. And as some of you who are in the field realize that architecture is a great major, great background from which to expand into many different fields. So for about 20 years, I did traditional practice in small, medium, and large firms in California and Massachusetts. And then I made a career shift into real estate investment and ended up being the managing director of an investment firm based out of Boston. Managed about 2 million square feet of real estate, commercial real estate, got into finance, and was able to experience the 2008 recession, front and center, survived it, understood without really choosing to what it meant to go for people and companies to go belly up financially. And it was a good experience in hindsight, though not particularly enjoyable. So that was for about 12 or 13 years. And then I shifted once again into academia. I did a couple of years at UMass Amherst as a capital project manager, managing different construction projects around campus. And then about 6 years at SCAD. We've been in Savannah for 11 years. So the first half of that time was at SCAD. I had many roles, ending with being Dean of the School of Building Arts, which houses design departments of architecture, interior design. And in fact, I was interim chair of 4 departments at the same time I was Dean. And that'll put a little stress in your life. But about 6 years ago, we parted ways, and I started to plan my retirement, which happened earlier this year. But during this time, part of the plan was to transition into art, into sketching, something that I've always wanted to do, but you really can't living doing it. And so I had to kind of put a lot of things by the side before all the kids are gone, and finally pushing retirement. So anyway, I kind of dove into it for the past 5 years, planning this, putting a number of irons on the fire, some retail, some graphic artwork, some consulting work, and some teaching. And I'll do a lot of that at Falling Water. Some of you know, this is the building that Frank Lloyd Wright designed in the 1930s, which has recently become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And I've been involved with them for that many years as artist in residence and doing some graphic design work, some consulting. I teach every summer, some residencies. In fact, going to do a 3-day back-to-back workshop series in September. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I sell product out of the museum shop in a sort of exclusive relationship, or exclusive arrangement, where my drawings in the form of sketches and prints are the only hand-drawn product that they feature in the store. But one of the fun things I did, I'll show you on the other screen, is for years, they were handing out 8.5 by 11 instruction sheets, maps, whatever information were needed by tourists as they come in through the main entrance. And the director says, we need something more substantial, something that people won't throw away, something that could be a keepsake, something that would be hand-drawn as a visitor guide. And so over the course of a year, I developed this visitor guide that is the same size as a sketchbook. Can't seem to find one handy. We need one of the small moleskin sketchbooks, same size, and it accordions out, giving you information about the property, about the background and history, giving you the guidelines, and on back descriptions of where to go for what. And they loved it. We produced it. I think we have, at this point in time, 250,000 copies out there somewhere floating about. So that's been fabulous. Yeah. So that's a little bit about me. Now in retirement mode, I'm finding that I'm as busy as ever, but I do have the luxury of more flexibility time-wise, and allows me to do things like this, which I really, really enjoy. The next thing I was asked to share about is how I got into urban sketching. For those of you who are in design in the industry, of course, as an architect, we draw all the time. But more intentionally, about 5 or 6 years ago, when I left SCAD, I really wanted to focus in on what this genre was about, what it meant to me, why was I so attracted to it, and how can I develop it as a lifelong skill. So I started to draw and draw and draw and draw, and one thing led to another. And as Chris has mentioned, I published this book out of sheer necessity to kind of justify all the time I was putting into it. And it isn't what I would call a populist book, in the sense that, most tourists look at it and go, well, I'm not interested in Istanbul. So I really intended it for it to be more of an instructional, almost like a memoir about my experiences in travel sketching. And I happened to have a daughter who was teaching in Istanbul over the course of 4 years. So I made 4 trips there, and was able to develop a sort of portfolio of sketches while I was there. And then subsequently able to break this down into 4 modes of sketching that, as we do our work today later on, I think I'll use. So the different modes in which we can conduct urban sketching, we can make these things differently, different mindsets. So that was one that I did. And then shortly after that, I put this book together. And actually all this was part of my interest in self-publishing. What does it take to put a book together? And man, it's painful. The work that has been done, I laid this out myself on InDesign, and that was a whole learning curve in of itself.
Yeah.
And so I put this together. It's done very well. I think I'm up to about 12 or 1300 copies sold in Savannah, and for independent, small-time, self-publishing effort. I'm happy with that. And then the third thing I put together, which is unfortunately no longer in print, is a little book called Sketching Falling Water, which features sketches that I did on site and really the experience of what it was to draw on site, how it felt, how the place smelled, the sounds that I experienced. I wanted to document it. So I started drawing it. And of course, as I progressed, I saw that what was missing was people. And I began to think, well, let me include some people. So toward the end, I put in a bunch of sketches I did during the residencies that I taught. And students would be asked to take silent hikes down to a house and how they felt and the crunching of the gravel on their feet, and they sitting around smelling and savoring the interior, going on a bus and field trips, sliding down the falls nearby, and basically documented about 2 years worth of experiences. So I did that. And then I mentioned it the other day during our planning meeting, but one of my goals is to, I know I have this book out for a reason, where I started. I tracked back as far as I could, and I found this sketchbook from 2010, and these were my very first urban sketches. They were in pencil at the time, very, I guess, stiff. I felt very stiff back then.
Yeah, very stiff.
Went to Prague and just painfully tried to draw things while people said, "That's enough, Dad, time to go. We don't want to wait for you anymore." But my current goal is to sketch on every continent. And as soon as I said that, my kid says, "Well, you can try for 6, but you're not doing the 7th." And as part of that, this last summer or earlier this summer, I made it to Australia, actually to visit some relatives, and was able to spend some time sketching both Perth and Sydney. And I'll show you a little bit of that work that I did. I started being laid over at the airport in Incheon for 10 and a half hours. So what's there to do in 10 and a half hours? Well, I came prepared. So I did a bunch of sketches. Then we went on to Singapore, where my wife's family is, visited for a week or so. I did a bunch of sketches while I was there, mostly centered around food. And, interesting experiences. This sketch is of a bird singing club, where hundreds of bird owners would bring their birds and hoist them up on poles and listen to them sing all day long. Learned a lot about local traditions and customs in Singapore. Did some sketches of downtown, and then ended with this really messy sketch of Jewel. I don't know if you heard it. This is a fountain feature in Singapore's Changi Airport. That is 8-story cascading fountain that basically mesmerizes all visitors when they. But you see, this one I did with that ink, that soluble ink pen, because I had no time at all. And see what happened when I closed the book? All the ink came off on the other side. Lesson learned. Then I went to Perth, visited some cousins, did some sketches. This is in Fremantle. Then different experiences. And as I did it, you see that I'm notating some of these sketches to remember why I was there and what I learned and observed. And this one is particularly special. I had the luxury of 3 full hours, mainly because it was raining or drizzling, and I happened to be undercover, and I had the time. And I did this skyline of Perth, and what was really special about it is that about an hour or 2 into that, someone tapped me on the shoulder, this lady just came up from having seen me from afar and said, "Hey, can I just watch you? I'm with Urban Sketchers." And I go, "Absolutely." So that's how I met Elaine O'Leary, a lovely lady who introduced me to, this is one of our homes in Perth. She's actually part of USK Canberra. And we talked for a while, really enjoyed our visit. And it was one of those chance meetings that you never forget. Just being part of Urban Sketchers is a really rare network to be part of. I did some more sketching in Perth, this time with no time. I just kind of retreated to my soluble ink pens and water brush pens. Then I flew over from Perth to Sydney and actually did the Sydney Opera House, the obligatory sketch that I'm sure everyone has to do when you visit that city. Made some notes of it. Used my trusty gel pen to get the waves, very easy and fast. And then I did a skyline sitting at the Opera House, looking back with a glass of wine and under a heat lamp because it was cold all time of the year. And then visited some galleries, some fabulous art galleries. I was particularly interested in Aboriginal art. So I went to the National Gallery in Canberra and a few other galleries to explore Aboriginal artist work. There's another skyline over Darling Harbour. And then while I was having lunch with my nephew at the Hyde Park in Sydney, I led it by that sketch. And then I ended the time in Sydney with a couple of pages. This one was particularly nice because it was part of the Vivid Light Show. I actually posted a video, a reel on my Instagram page, and it was people, like thousands of people walking by. You had no time. It was loud. It was windy. And I thought, let me throw 25 minutes of this and see what happens. That's what showed up. More downtown Sydney sketches. So that was my trip. And toward the end, really being absorbed into the galleries, took some notes. And this is really part of what I introduce in travel sketching, which is my favorite mode of travel sketching / urban sketching is travel art journaling. And one of the, well, the continent before this, I'll just show it real quickly. I won't go through every page. Same experience. This was last year traveling to Singapore and to China, visiting my daughter who was teaching there as well. And toward the end, kind of got less and less patient with my usual style, and I really dove into the soluble ink pen, water brush pen techniques. And well, this was really fun. My daughter took us on a hike across a segment of Wild Wall, which is the part of the Great Wall of China that's not restored. Later, I found out that on which people have died trying to climb. And I said, well, at the very least, I'm going to bring my sketch stuff and we'll pose for a shot, me sitting on the wall sketching it. So I actually started the sketch on site and then finished it later on. Fabulous experience. But then we went to different cities, and I really found this technique just fascinating. With soluble, I used all kinds of soluble ink pens, like anything I could find in the stores, and just threw some lines of ink on. And when we visited the Lama Temple, this is when I just went crazy with that pen, just trying to capture and savor the smell of the incense and the throngs of the people, and this technique just lends itself to a hurried, very intense recording of that experience. And so that's where that ended up, and that's really what I wanted to sort of transition to in our little exercise today, to see if, and I know that Jessica and others have done this before, so this is nothing new, but still could be fun. And I was thinking it could be really fun if you did it fast. All right, so um, here's a couple of things I did that recently to experiment with this technique in different ways. And I just got these 3 pens in the mail. You'll recognize them. This is a Papermate Flare, which is my go-to, but it's got almost too much ink right now because it's new. It's kind of like you want it to be almost bled out before it really gives you the line qualities that you want. This Arteza is nice, but it's kind of too fat. Just trying it in my sketchbook earlier, and it gives you this sort of fat line thing. So you have to be careful and really gentle with it, almost use it like a brush. The one that I want to try more intentionally today is this one. And for want of a better name, is called Mr. Pen. And it gives this lovely thin, very thin line here. But what's different about this is that the color that it bleeds is warmer. It's a warmer black. It's almost like an ivory black versus like the Payne's grays that the other types of pen tend to bleed into. So I thought we would try that today with our sample sketch. I also tried putting watercolor on this. And Chris, I was watching your YouTube video when you were doing one of those demos. Beautiful, beautiful work. And I don't know what ink you were using, but it looked like it was a permanent ink, but it was a fountain pen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love the fountain pens, and I use a waterproof ink. It's a Noodler's.
I thought it was, and I guessed that I ordered it. It should be here tomorrow, and I really want to try. But throwing color on some of these ink soluble sketches is tricky, right? Get a lot of bleed going, a lot of muddling. So I'm not satisfied. I don't really know how to do that, so I'm fussing around with that. Anyway, that's kind of intro to where I am. Any comments or questions before we do something else?
The only comment I have is just fantastic. I can tell you're an architect. Everything is so organized, and that the book it's almost. Do you pre-sketch? Do you pre-layout in pencil in any way, or do you just go for it?
It depends. So the work that I showed you from Beijing and Australia was with the exception of, all these were done without any pencil work. The only exception was the skylines, because if you don't get the proportions right on this one, you'll just either bleed out the page or not spread across far enough. So I actually did lay out the general shapes of the buildings with pencil before I went into it. And the same thing I did with the Perth skyline, is just lightly go in so that I know where I'm going. It's almost like target practice. I want to start with this building. I want to end with that building. I'm going to fill in from both sides. But generally, I am too lazy and too rushed to take the time to lay it out in pencil. So, and because I have that background as an architect, I have the sense of kind of where things need to go, and I've got a certain level of confidence that serves me. But in the book Travel Sketching, when you get to browsing through it, you'll see that one of the modes that plein air sketching is, of course, a mode that we're all familiar with. You sit there, you draw until you're done. Good or bad, you're done, you walk away. I call the next iteration of that plein air plus, where you're drawing, and then you run out of time, whether the rain starts pouring down or something like that. You take a picture from the same point of view, and then you go back to your hotel room or go under shelter, go to a cafe, finish it off. And sort of, we have these different experiences and different places we go to and travel to. Each circumstances is different. Each circumstance is different. And so we need to have multiple ways of accomplishing what we want to. So I got myself freed up from saying, I got to do this on site and I got to finish no matter what. So once I freed myself from that, I realized, no, this is not about the product. It's about the process of recording something I've traveled a long ways to see. And am I really seeing? Am I really observing this scene? And as I slow down, and one of the things I recommend about planet sketching is to quieten your heart and breathe and savor the moment before you start sketching. That's like the best part, because it almost like it gives you permission to turn the world off for a few minutes. And that's one of the reasons I love travel sketching. It's high stress. Some of the stuff that, like the one I did of the vivid light show, it's high stress because you're just flying all over the page and you're just letting. But when you finish that, you realize I've just rested my mind for 25 minutes. My body's of course all stressed out, my muscles all tight from it. But I realized that I've just taken a break from life for 25 minutes, and that's pretty precious.
Wonderful. The cognitive, really positivities are spectacular as well. I know you're doing a little bit of research on that. I don't know if you want to expound on.
I do. In fact, we'll be attending a workshop this week, and we got some TV coverage on this morning, which is really good, because I was hoping we would have enough people participate. But one of the things that this is a local house museum. They were interested in my research into the cognitive benefits of drawing by hand, and wanted me to include that in a workshop for skills of all ages. So the goal, one of the purposes behind this workshop is to show people that something unique goes on in our brains when we draw by hand. So a group of scientists, in particular out of Norwegian University of Science and Technology, they, over the last, I would say, 10 years or so, have done some research that has begun to prove that that something unique goes on in our brains when you draw versus when you write or describe, aka type. So they put these EEG net, I guess they're nets with electrodes on the heads of different subjects from the university, put them into three groups. One group they put some Pictionary words up on the screen, and one group would just type the word repeatedly. The next group would describe the word, and the third group would draw the word. And they recorded their brain activity, and they found that those who were drawing recorded significantly more brain activity than the other two groups. And later they found, after more research and collaborating with other research, that the activity occurs in the limbic region of the brain, which is in the middle of your brain. You point at your ear and go through one side, you point to your nose, you go through the other side. Where these intersect is the limbic region. And one of the structures within the limbic region is called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is really responsible for memory. Traditionally, has been understood to be responsible for us remembering things. But they found that when drawing, the activity within the limbic region, in particular the hippocampus, is equally strongly activated. And after more research, they concluded that drawing enhances not just memory, but learning and creativity. And it's taken 20 years or so for the results to build to a body of knowledge that scientists are able to write reports now and publish them to show us that everything, like, if you've been an architect for 20 or 30 years, this. You know that drawing refreshes your brain. You know that you get good ideas when you draw, but now we can prove it, And I wanted to get that across to people that okay, it's not what you draw, but it's that you draw that will make a difference in your life, and in particular, your children's lives. Because this is the other thing. I'll make this one last comment, and we should get to sketching. Is that children have traditionally been judged their artistic skills have been judged by people who are basically rooted in science and technology, in the sciences. So the situation where, first grade kids are drawing, like kindergarten, they're drawing, and the teacher comes on and says, oh, you see the stick figure, they go, oh, you don't have an artistic bone in your body, just stick to math. And discourages students, and throughout elementary school, you never get encouraged. Our curriculum does not support the arts as much as the sciences. So after a while, we come kind of locked into this sort of non-artistic, I'll never be an artist, I can't draw mentality that really has handicapped us. And there's a book, that 600-page book written by a guy named Ian McGilchrist, called The Master and His Emissary. And this book basically says that the battle for dominance in the world is between the left brain and the right brain. And he tries to prove that the master of the two is actually the right brain, and that we need to let the right brain start dominating our way of life and the way we do things for us to be more balanced and live wholesome lives. Obviously, that's a paraphrase, but anyway, that's a lot of yakking. Want to draw?
Fascinating. Yes.
All right. So the subject I picked for us is the Forsyth Fountain, which is again a destination icon in Forsyth Park, which is in the middle of downtown Savannah, and it's probably the most photographed icon in Savannah. People come here for weddings, and they love to choose this spot to propose to their loved ones. And farmers market happens here, art fairs happen here, sidewalk arts, the big thing that students from SCAD and other places come and make chalk drawings on the sidewalks around this fountain once a year. It's a fabulous destination. So I thought we would try to sketch it today. And I don't know what you're going to use. I'm going to use Mr. Pen. And I thought that we got to 9. We've got time, and I thought we could maybe do it twice. The first time, just do your own style, do your own thing, and the second time to do it really quickly. Or you can flip it, either way. But one of the things I found by doing a drawing quickly is that my left brain, the left side of my brain, has no time to control my right side. It starts to get confused by the rapidity of how I'm drawing, and has no time to tell me what I'm doing wrong. Whereas the right side of my brain knows exactly what I should be doing. Okay, so speed might help you. No guarantees. How's that sound?
Love it.
All right, so Ken, I told you about the pens. You all know from Jessica's demo about a year ago, so we know about the water brush pens. Everybody has them. That's easy. And then kind of go. So the one, and I presume you all will I'll just start, and I presume you guys will be starting as well.
Yeah, is this going to be the quick one or the normal one?
I'm just going to do both of them quick myself.
All right.
But yeah, so the one thing I noticed about this drawing is the contrast between the white fountain and the darkness behind. So because I'm going to use a water brush pen, I'm going to lay enough lines in the background so that my pen can pick up that darkness. But it's also got the fountain sprays, which are hard to capture but really important. So I'm going to just start by right in the middle of the drawing, because I know where that that upper layer is going to land. And the other thing that I do, if you notice, if you're watching while you draw, I hold my pen really far away from the nib. And it allows me to cover a lot more distance when I am trying to draw in scale, when I'm trying to get proportions, right? And I use a very squiggly line. uh, there's no straighter line I can draw than the one that I wiggle. I was doing a little interview for TV today, and they were trying to ask me questions while I was sketching, and I can't even remember what I said because my brain automatically just starts shut down once I start drawing.
It is amazing how quiet it does get, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing here is I'm scribing the cones of the sprays so that I want to try to leave those out when I shade. All right, so once I've got my fountain laid out, I'm going to start working on the background. This is the tricky part because here's where the lines start descending. And but the part that's often difficult is these live oaks in the South are gnarly, right? People try to draw live oaks is extremely hard to get. I've been struggling for this for 5 or 6 years, getting the character of these live oak branches, which if you look at them, they're absolutely crazy. They defy gravity. Then another thing I talk about in my book on travel sketching is that after some practice, after you've actually done this a while, like most of you have, you develop a vocabulary of how to draw certain things. So a vocabulary of how to draw leaves on a tree. I've a typical way of doing it that I stick to, unless the leaf structure and the leaf shapes are dramatically different, like magnolias. I typically use the same technique as I use for pretty much every tree, which is this. You want to just take this kind of squiggly, random line. I use it in all my sketches. and it's just a wiggle that just goes crazy all over the place. And I'm also taking some artistic license, even though the tree line goes above the statue, I'm going to cut it below the statue because I want to show the sky. Then the back is going to be really tricky because there's so much of it going on. So I'm just going to make up some stuff. I know there's a canopy that ends some point and then tree trunks below it. So I'm just going to make up that canopy, the underside of the canopy, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to actually pull some trunks down between there so I can, it just forces the observer to understand what's going on, even though you don't see it from the picture. And this is part of that developing vocabulary that I just use because it communicates well enough without having to get literal about representing vegetation. Sounds like somebody's got a fountain in the background. And one of the things I've been doing lately is I've been going back over my sketch where I know I want a dark outline to add more ink to the area so that when I use the water brush pen, I have more to work with.
Mm.
How's everybody doing? Good.
Great.
Good.
Let's do 5 more minutes on this. And as when I was watching Jessica and even any of the water soluble techniques, the brush part is the funnest part, right?
Mm.
And the quickest and the funnest.
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone.
I was about to say, I tend to be the sketch is over and they're like, all right, everybody throw down. I'm like, oh no, where's my water? And I like everything right at the end there. I just throw a whole bunch of water down on it as I'm
That's
walking
right.
back over to the urban sketch group because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no.
That's what I did today. Yeah. I'm just adding lines because I know I need more ink. This is all gonna disappear once I put the brush pen on.
Mm.
I didn't
You know,
bring my
this is-
typical pen out.
Maybe that Aztec thing. I might have to come back with this guy. Huh. Whoa, this could be scary. Got the fountain, got the tree. All right, let's try it, see what happens here.
go for it, huh?
Yeah, there's probably not enough ink there. But
Mm.
All right.
Mr. Pen got not enough ink here. When did they come back? Fuss with it later on. Jesus, give me more ink here. What is that?
Somebody's on a vinyl chair.
The minute I added water, everything went to heck.
Yep. That's the part of the magic. This is where, see, I have to come. I didn't put enough ink, so I'm coming back with more lines.
It's no magic for me.
Well, magic is when things disappear, Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah, this is looking pretty bad.
Let's see if we can get some more ink now. Oh, yeah, a little bit better. And the last thing I want to do here is to get the underside of the fountain in some sort of shadow, some sort, because that'll define the edges much more clearly. Let's try.
Jess, I used the elegant writer and crazy on me.
No, too bad.
All right. How's everybody doing? This is just a trial. All right. So that was stressful, but that was 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Want to try it again?
Oh yeah.
Okay, now we have, now I know exactly what I would do different. Let's try it again. Okay, we'll do another 20-minute sketch and then we'll be done. Having trouble focusing.
Is this supposed to be the quick one?
Yeah. I've changed pens because the other one, the one that I use, just didn't have enough ink for what I imagined I wanted to have happen. Did not happen because there wasn't enough ink. Now I'm going to be more intentional about laying down. Ah,
Mhm.
anybody feel like you're zoning out yet?
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure zoning out's the word I would use, but
Yeah. I think that's the place that we have to work toward being. And there's a, everybody read Malcolm Gladwell? There's a book he wrote called Outliers. Have you read that? In that book, he devotes the entire chapter to the 10,000 hour rule, where he proceeds to prove that any measure of greatness in anything that you do in the world requires 10,000 hours of practice. From music to basketball to drawing to the creating of anything. Bill Gates, computers, that 10,000 hours is what he calls the number, the magic number of greatness. And I kind of believe it. I think that there is something to be said about practicing over and over again something to a point that it becomes almost automatic. And there's another thing I talk about is Johanny Plasma's book called The Thinking Hand, where after a while, your hand actually starts to think on its own, develops its own vocabulary, its own way of expressing these lines. I'm not even thinking, like, for example, now I'm not even thinking about where my lines are going. I'm just putting them down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not generally what I want to do, but okay, I think this is better. I got a little more.
Forget the people.
Yeah, I throw people in for scale, but I make them blobs. I just wanted to hint to the detail of this railing. It's just beautiful. Where are we? We're 10 minutes into the sketch. Everybody okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to ditch this live oak branches. Too much stress.
Oh, you architects, you dodge the trees, right?
dodge the trees. Yeah, I mean, you can notice, like, when you see the work that I do, is that, kind of help. You can take the architecture out of the architect, but you can't take the architect or the other way. You can take the architect out of the architecture, but you can't take the architecture out of the architect. So I'm driven to precision, and I have to force myself to loosen up. I'm always,
Yeah.
That's a constant fight, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And but I've come to terms with it. This is who I am. This is what I have to work with. This is the cards I was dealt. So let's just make it work. All right, brush time. Scary brush time. Oof. It's really light. Oof. Scary, scary, scary. Oh, it's getting muddy now. Gotta stop. Right, I'm done. How are you guys doing?
About done as well.
Yeah.
That was fun.
The blast.
How was it the second time?
I didn't go into as much detail, so it was better.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I ditched the live oak branches, a lot of the stuff. It does get messy, it does get muddy in the end. What are the other observations using this thing? Did all of you use the same basic technique with wet brush paint?
Yes.
Yeah. What other insights do we have?
Let's take a look at everybody's work and see what everybody thinks.
All right.
Who wants to show their work? Okay, I see someone there. Maria, can you unmute your microphone and show your sketch? Maria? Yes.
Yep.
See?
Okay. Yeah,
Nice. Good.
See it?
very
Yep.
good.
Thank you. Someone else is ready to show.
Oh, we got color.
Okay, let's go with the one of Lisa and then.
Yeah, that's me. The top one is the elegant writer, and so has all the color in it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one's a flare.
Yes, that's what I used for the second one too. There.
I like that flare better, but I didn't put the fence in because I thought it was just it muddled it too much.
It does. It does.
Glenn? Oh, Glenn, okay.
Glenn, show yours again.
Sure.
Oh, nice. That's nice, Glenn.
That's real nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
But the problem that I have is that my pens are all indelible. So I didn't have any that I thought that this one was going to bleed. It's a
Yes.
Pigma MB. It's about a 89-cent pen, but it didn't bleed. It's indelible too.
What's it called again? A pigment?
Pigma MB. It's made in Japan. Sakura, Japan. Pigma MB. But I thought it would bleed. I thought I could shade with it, and I was really having trouble with it.
Yep. Okay, it's very nice, very dark.
Very nice, thank you. Who else is ready?
Fun exercise.
We're all in your hands, huh?
Okay, I'll go with Grace.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. That was my
yeah.
first.
Oh, man.
Very nice.
Nice.
And
All
my
right.
second one, I sort of acquiesced to my watercolor, which I like to.
Oh, fair, you added people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was just following Ivan.
That was a fountain pen. What kind of ink did you use in that?
Yeah, let's get to just my cheap. It's about $12 Lamy pen.
Yeah, I've got the Lamy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes with the water soluble ink.
Oh, okay. Just what it came with. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Grace.
Hey, Chris.
Nice.
Oh, hi, Chris.
That's
Yeah, there's the first one with the flare pen and just the water brush to try to
Yep.
put in that dark background.
Really nice.
And then the
Second one.
second one
Yeah.
was with the indelible ink in a Lamy pen, and then just a couple of two tones of watercolor, a green for the trees and kind of a gold for the sky in the background.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Karen, okay.
Is that Karen down there? Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Karen.
Oh, Karen, that's great.
Karen.
Very nice.
Very nice. Thank you. Someone else?
Patrick.
Yes, I will go with Patrick. Okay.
Well, as you can see, I left my water indelible pens in the house. I have them in all colors, so I used a Tombow and a Sailor Food.
Mhm. That's
Nice.
not black though. Is it a gray?
Yeah, gray felt marker.
Very nice, Patrick.
Wait, which was your first one?
This quick one over here.
Yep. Good.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. We are going now with Melinda.
Oh, nice, Linda.
Mhm. Let's see. Yep.
Mhm.
Very
Nice.
good.
Yep. Good detail.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. It's okay.
Thank you. Someone else?
I have a long way to go.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Yes. Where are you?
I don't think they look different from each other at all. So here's both of them.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Longer or shorter didn't really
Yeah.
make a huge difference. I did the limbs on this one,
Mhm.
and then this one
Without, yeah.
without, and I just didn't. I don't know. I tried to use this thing. I don't know it that well, but
Pilot, yeah, razor, right?
I-
Razor point, yeah.
I didn't use my tried and true
Mhm.
Elegant writer.
elegant writer. Yeah, I was
Pointer?
figured I wasn't sure if we were going to
Nice.
be adding color, and so I was just trying to
Mhm.
be ready.
Very nice.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Good, good.
And
Hannah,
yeah, I'll show mine.
you have to show yours.
Yes. Mm. Here is the first one.
Mm.
All right, that's
Very
great.
nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
And the second one.
Second one's better.
Oh, man, that's
Yeah.
even better.
Oh wow.
You got all the people in
Got
there.
the people in
A
there.
little bit of
Absolutely.
Yeah,
people.
gotta have yeah.
Very
Yes.
nice.
And
I love the impressionistic ones. Yeah.
I use a pilot razor.
Mhm.
Yes.
I forgot I had this Tombow. I should have tried it as well.
Got some Tombos too, and I
Oh, yeah.
Lori, are you there?
Yeah.
don't worry.
I'm here. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
I
don't
hear
know
you.
if you can see it.
Nice.
Yep, that's it.
Yes,
Yep.
Lori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Very nice.
sculptural. Mhm.
First one I kept trying over and over and over again, so I don't have much to show. I can't, they're all failures.
Yeah.
Felix?
Never a failure.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Phyllis?
This is
Oh.
my first one, which I like better than
Yeah.
the second one. It's not real
That's
dark.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phyllis. Yeah. There you go.
This is the
I like
second
both.
one, but I was in a hurry too much.
Yeah,
So
I like
prefer
both of them.
overall.
I
Very
like both of them.
soft.
Very good.
Very
Love the way
nice.
you put the lamps in. None of us put the
Yeah.
lamps in.
Yeah,
But I
that's
like
very
this one
wet.
better.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, it's micron and watercolor.
Mhm.
Real nice.
Am I missing
What else do
someone?
we have?
You can just show your sketchbook and I'll spotlight you.
No, Ron Garnett has joined us for the first time in a while. Ron, can you turn your camera on? I know you're like me, you know, technology doesn't get along with me. There you are. What do you got? Can you show us something?
Well, actually, while you're doing your, Haskell sketchers and Mr. Chow here is drawing, I'm more fascinated to just sit here and watch how you guys do it. So I'm not missing anything. So no, I'm not sketching along. I'm paying attention and learning from you guys.
Yeah, that's absolutely the one disadvantage. You know, when we have to draw, I'd rather watch as well because Ivan's got a great technique. So, all right, Ron, good deal, bud.
Well,
Glad
thank
you joined
you so much for inviting me, and thank you, Mr. Chow. It's been just a pleasure watching you, all of you guys work.
So we have Monica or Elise or Connie.
Connie?
Connie, how are you, Connie?
You're muted, Connie.
You're muted.
I'm hanging in there.
Wow.
Wow.
Look
Wow,
at
yeah.
color in there.
Very
Wow.
good.
That I cheated a wee bit. This is the only one I did.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Yep, it was fun. Fun. Thank you.
Good.
Very
Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Idle. That. Let me highlight you.
Up late, sorry. So the first one, I didn't really have my, what's it called? My water brush. So I did it with just a Tombow. So that's one. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second one, I just had to do my usual.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very colorful.
Very
Nice.
Yeah.
nice. Yes. Thank
Awesome.
Y'all are incredible.
And there was another person,
you.
Monica.
Morning. Okay. I'll see her. Very good.
Oh, man.
Pretty.
Very nice.
That's gorgeous. Nice.
Got the shadows in. Nope. Good. Nice.
Good.
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 Sorry, I only did one.
Okay. Good.
I like how you got the sprays of water. That looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these are really painterly, really
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
soft and painterly. Mhm.
If I,
Great.
yes, if someone is missing, let me know, or if not, we can take a group picture with your sketch. Okay.
All right. Want everybody to hold this up and take a picture?
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Yeah.
please. Let me prepare the screenshot camera. Okay. Everyone is ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
What a crew.
How often do y'all do this sort of thing?
Once a month, the second Wednesday of every month.
It's really
And you're
neat.
welcome to join us. All right, everybody. That was wonderful, Ivan.
Yeah.
Yes, and your sketching is so beautiful. So you have, how much do you sketch?
What do you mean?
I mean, how often?
Every day.
Often? It varies. I haven't actually sketched much since I got back from Australia. So about a month, I haven't done much drawing because I had a lot of admin stuff backed up. But during the trip, I sketched every day, multiple, maybe 2 hours a day for 3 weeks. And then prior to that, I'd done this thing that I wanted to do beginning of this year in January, February, into the first week of March, to sketch a day in downtown Savannah. Let me show you what I've been trying this new. This is a different product than I've done before, but it's basically this is my usual style. This takes maybe a couple of hours for me to do, but I've been packaging it differently. So these are sketches that I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 streets of Savannah and down some of the squares. So I've been working my way through the entire city, doing sketches and just kind of saving them like these. And one day I'll put them up for sale and we'll see who wants to buy these little originals. But these I did one a day for 2.5 months, which was a lot of pressure I put on myself. So I'm not going to do that again. But
Nice.
but I love to do it. It's a matter of being in the right frame of mind. And so to carve that out of a busy day, that's a challenge. But that's why I like traveling, because when I'm traveling, I don't have to look at all my stuff. I don't have my computer. I don't have all the distractions of home. I can just draw.
Cool.
And you're based out of Savannah, or you were visiting Savannah?
Me? I live in Savannah.
Oh, so you need to come visit us. You're not far. You could
Not
come
far?
sketch
Oh,
with us one time. No.
yes. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I've been here for 11 years now.
Awesome.
Y'all should come here. Get Savannah live.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
But
Well,
are you going?
this is our 5th year as a group. September is makes our 5th year, so we're going to do some kind of celebration. So maybe we can get you to come and do a workshop with us. That would be awesome.
Now, how often do you actually go out during the summer, like plein air?
In the summer, I didn't schedule anything for the month of June or July. I think we went once in June, to St. Augustine.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, it's just too hot in July, August.
Yeah.
We're thinking
one-
of doing indoor sketches, but
Yep. That's the way. That's the only way to do it when the weather is bad or when it's just too hot, because you want to try to avoid suffering through plein air sketching. It would be antithetical to the whole point of it.
yeah.
Hey, the Orange Park Mall was fun last year. I actually enjoyed
That's
that.
true. That's true. We did the mall, and even though it's not real inspiring, there's people and there's children and there's strollers and interesting things. And then we
just like-
did, yeah.
when I did when I was stuck at the airport in Korea, I ended up actually enjoying the 10.5 hours because I did some sketches I would never otherwise have been able to do.
Right. You just have to take them as opportunities.
Right.
Well, we have so enjoyed this, and we thank you so much for coming to
It was really fun.
inspire us.
Nice.
And yes, thank you
Nice
very
to-
much.
Nice to meet all of you, and Melinda,
Thank you.
I'll see you Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
All
Ivan,
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
awesome.
Glad I got
for
to go.
inviting me, Chris.
Yeah, all right,
Thank
Ron.
you,
Good to
Mr.
see
Chow.
Thank
Welcome.
you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Good night.
Ivan, take
Night.
care. We'll see you
Bye.
soon. for sure.
Ivan.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Great
Thank you.
work.
Bye.
Take
Good
care
night.
now, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye
Take
now.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.